Hi all, I'd like to do a soldering video. Here's a soldering iron I picked up on Amazon. It's wireless, runs off butane. It's nice because it's made in America. I think Wisconsin. The brand name is Isotip. So Pro 50 butane soldering iron kit, model 7971. The world's most popular pocket-sized butane-powered soldering iron, specifically designed for the hobby DIY enthusiast. Compact size, runs up to 30 minutes. Soldering temperature 410 to 750 Fahrenheit. Torch temperature 2400. And some other technical stuff. Ready in 20 seconds. I'll show you what to do with it here. I'm not an electrician. I don't know all the details. I just picked up this butane at Lowe's. It's over by the tools and the torches and things like that for like plumbing, soldering. So this is how you fill it up. This one's still kind of full. You can see the liquid floating around in there. There's the hole you use to fill it up, and you just do this here. Okay, so it's just like filling up a cigarette lighter. I don't know if they still have those kind, but that's the way we used to fill up our cigarette lighters years ago. And just fill it up, you know, until you see some liquid inside the bowl there. And then to start it up, see, they give you this little cap here. See, this cap goes on there like that. This here is a little stand. When it's hot, you can set it down like that and not burn your table. Okay, so to start it up, this here is the on and off switch. Okay, so way over here is on full, way over here is off. So it's like over and down is off. So you can't automatically slide that over. So to turn it on, just push this up and over. And you can hear it hissing, so it's shooting out the fluid through here. And then you just spark it here. And it may take a few tries before it starts up here. And then when it starts up, you'll see a flame there. And it said in the directions there, what, 30 seconds or something like that. Let's see here. 20 seconds. Ready to use after 20 seconds. Okay. So we mainly need the tip to get hot. There's different types of solder. Solder has lead in it. The modern solder is lead free. I've heard that it doesn't work all that great, so that's up to you if you want to use the lead free. If you buy solder with lead in it, don't breathe it. Lead's bad for you. It affects your brain, and even just a little bit, you can have like mental problems, you know, and things like that. Stays in your system a long time. So okay, so I'm gonna solder these two wires together. You know, heat up the wires first with the soldering iron. That's very important. And then touch the solder to the torch. Okay, and after it hardens up, you can always move it around, just warm it up and do it again. One video I watched, the guy seemed like an expert at this stuff. He said always heat that up, because if not, you get what you call a cold solder, and the solder will be gray. That's not a good solder. And he said if that happens, you just heat it up and do it again. So. See that smoke there? Don't breathe that smoke. You only really need a little dab. You don't need a lot. After it cools off, you can move it. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I don't know if that's really necessary, but I just want to make sure it's on there. Probably not good to do this on a plastic table either, so. I'm only doing a little bit, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so that's all there's to it. Oh, there's different types of solder. Some solder is for water pipes, some solder is for electrical. I'm not sure of the difference in the label. Just go to your store, your electronics store, tell them what you're soldering, and they'll sell you the right type of solder. I think this solder has a built-in flux in it. That's like a liquid. You know, some soldering videos you'll see them wipe on a cream or a liquid, and that's built into the wire here. I've had this same roll since probably late 80s, early 90s, and I used to have a small guitar teaching school, and I would use this to solder the fellas' guitars if the plugs came loose. So this stuff will last a long time. That seems like a really good solder there. That's pretty strong. I watched a video a while back, and the guy said if you're working with the really small wires, what you can do is solder a bigger wire on it and then put the heat shrink tube on it. And then you've got a good strong connection. And you don't have to mess with the small wires. These wires are for the backup camera on my snowplow pickup truck, and these wires are just, they're really small. See here, look at that. I mean, that's really small. Might be okay if you're working with those inside of a factory with computerized machines, but kind of hard to work with at home. See that one? That's a little big there. I don't know if I can get that over that. I saw one video, the fella said you can put the heat shrink tube on with a hair dryer, so I'm going to give that a shot. Let's see here. I know, that doesn't feel like it's getting very hot to me. High is the other way. That wire is so small, it actually melted the wire. So one end shrunk up good, but the other side doesn't seem to be shrinking. See here, that wire actually looked like it's singed right there. So it shrunk around here, but I can't get this, I can't get that hot enough to shrink because it's melting the wire. This part shrunk up good. Oh, the heat shrink is probably too big for that wire. See, around the thick wire, it shrank up good. So, okay, I'll just have to wrap some black tape around there too. This this isn't going to be exposed to weather. It's going to be inside the truck, so it's not that big of a deal. I just don't want to. I just don't want it to fall apart on me. Okay, see ya. Bye. Well, you might as well watch me do this one here. See how that wire is really small. See, there's the smallest heat shrink I got. I ordered a box off Amazon. Came with all different sizes, but not that real dinky stuff. So I'm going to put the heat shrink on here first. So this is I gotta mark everything. I'm already losing track of all the cameras and things. I'm putting four cameras in the truck, but I only have two. So this is gonna be the back one that goes to the license plate. So this is cam 1, cam 1, and then this one was supposed to be cam 2. And just in case, if you're curious, see those will go on here. See monitor, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. Okay, back to the soldering. So yeah, that wire is really small. It's like, what do you do with that? There might be easier ways to light this, you know, like using a cigarette lighter or something. Match here. Hope these matches light. They're probably 20 years old themselves. Okay, so that's a lot easier, huh? I just go to Dollar Tree and I get a cheap pair of glasses for $1. And these are way stronger than I need them. These are 2.0. There's different strengths, you know, 1 point, 1.5, 2.0, 3 point, you know, and then I can use these when I'm working on something really small. So let's see here. Right here is what I'm going to solder. So I'm going to heat that up. Should only take a second to cool off. Flip that over. I don't think you have to flip it over, but I just want to make sure I got it. See this part is what got me. Last time I couldn't get the heat shrink over it. Man, that wire's small. And then the black one, look at that. There's probably 10 strands there. It's so small I can't even work with it. I guess if you work with a lot of electronics, you get used to that, but I think what you're supposed to do is put them together like this. You know, put the strands together, and then solder that. I know in plumbing they heat up the pipe and then touch the solder to the pipe, and it pulls the solder into the pipe. So that's probably the whole idea here too. It pulls the solder in there. Doesn't get any smaller than that, does it? See, that's the one I was saying it was going to give me a hard time. I guess you're supposed to use a heat gun with this heat shrink tube, but I'll tell you that would really torch the wire. That's really stiff. It won't move. Like, what the hell? Let's heat it up and see what happens. See if we can move it. You know, now that I think of it, another thing that fella did was he put another one over top of this. So I don't know if that one will fit. And then the whole, that one's a little big. Small. See, that's not gonna go over that. Shit. Next step up is huge. Boy, that's big. I'd say hair dryer doesn't really work all that great. So, let's see if I can do it with a match here. Probably burnt. I'll probably burn the wire. That worked okay. Don't burn the wire, dumbass. That worked good. Better than it was. And then I'll do the other one like that too. I'll have to take off that tape. Okay, so I got the tape off there. Now I'll put this one on here. Slide this down. I'm just taping up the ends here because when I flop it over, these things kind of mess everything up. Matches seem to work okay, just don't burn the wire. Getting there. We'll go 3 matches this time. See if we can burn it. So we have to do it again and make the video longer. I think that'll do. If you see black soot on your wires, you might be too close. Okay, it's still a little loose here, but I could probably do it again here. It's real loose right here. This one here tightened up pretty good. Okay, last 2 matches. That'll work. Like I said, it's not exterior. See, that's a little loose, but I don't want to burn those wires. I'll just wrap some black tape around there to strengthen it up. Plus I'm out of matches. That's good. it's not an external thing. It's going to be inside the truck, so it just strengthens things up a little bit, so I don't have to worry about breaking them. While it's a little hot, you can clean up the tip like this. I've got a few more here to solder. You might as well hang out. They only take a second to heat up. You don't have to hold it on there long. Yeah, see, I got these taped down so they don't flop around. As you can tell, I don't do a lot of soldering. As you can tell, I don't do a lot of soldering, so this is just like a one-time project for the snowplow. And then some of these wires are sticking up. I'm going to try to flatten them down here a little bit. Okay. See, and then while it's still hot, I'll just clean that off a little bit. It would take a good half hour to cool down, so I wouldn't even try to put it away. Okay, see ya.